Here at the GSL, the up and down matches. The Tastes and Artosis, Tasteosis. I know what you're thinking, Artosis, and it's true. I can't help but think that MVP Genius, formerly NSP Genius, looks just like Doug Funny.
He does.
Did you ever watch that show?
Of course, all the time, man.
Yeah, man. Remember Patty Mayonnaise?
Of course, I remember Patty Mayonnaise. Remember Skeeter? You kind of look like Skeeter.
Hey, guys.
You're kind of like
why?
green like
I'm
him.
blue?
They actually both can't agree on his color. I'm like, no, he's more of an aqua taste. I don't know.
And, of course, you'll never forget Pork Chop. Genius, a very charming, friendly guy. Champion of BlizzCon. He is really clever. And I got to say, sometimes he's not, if they're both to play straight up, I would not expect him to beat MVP. But here's the thing, is a Genius has so many tricks up his sleeve. You never know what to expect from this guy.
Faceless. He does magic tricks.
He does.
In the game and out of the game.
He does, man.
He has a pigeon in his hat. And you're like, well, where's his hat?
Exactly. Upgraded cloak. Actually, upgraded cloak, you'll be able to see the pigeon.
Pigeon's cloak already. Tasus pigeons are always cloaked.
Oh, my bad.
You don't know anything. Jeez.
Head to head here. We're going to have this TVP matchup. Let's see who's going to move on.
Who's that, Tasteless?
Oh, the person in the red? That must be the BlizzCon champion. He is...
MVP Genius.
And in the blue, at the upper right, a lot of pressure on this guy. Champion of GSL Season 4, defeating Marine King Prime.
I am MVP.
And if this guy doesn't go up, huge upset. Of course, Genius not being in Code S doesn't sound right either. One of the most feared players in Korea throughout most of the beta. Used to be a CJ Entis pro gamer. He was Terran on CJ Entis.
Actually buddies with Hydra.
Yeah. One of the Koreans Hydra actually played customs with a lot. He was such a scary player.
Yeah.
For a very long time. Recently hasn't done as much, and here he is, almost eliminated from Code S.
One thing about both these guys, too, is they're very confident in themselves. Genius, bordering on overconfidence, but I kind of like that.
Yes, that's quite true. One thing I do want to point out about this match, which is kind of interesting, Genius has said publicly several times that he's been thinking of switching to Terran. Now, we saw him actually warming up with Terran before the match. Now, some people warm up with an off race just because they are just warming up their hands, but it is possible that he's getting ready. He can't switch in the middle of a season to a different race, but he could, if he wanted, next season say, hey, I'm playing Terran this season.
It's interesting to see Genius even debate switching to Terran because I think his Protoss is so solid.
Well, he's a StarCraft 1 Terran, and he has had troubles against Terrans in the GSL. So maybe that's something he just wants to do. Maybe he's like, well, geez, if we had the Marauder in StarCraft 1, would have been called Terrancraft.
That would have been insane. Imagine the Marauder and serving. You guys got Vultures and Marauders. I'm like,
that'd be hilarious. I slow you down so I can run in front of you and lay spider mines.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
All right, so you never can really predict with Genius. Oh, nice boxing there. What? A little bit of 1-2. He actually cornered the SCV perfectly there. It's where the SCV got stuck, tried to pathfind its way around it, but not quick enough.
This is a new thing where you send out your first Zealot and you push out a Stalker as quickly as possible, send that as well. You get so much scouting intel. Sometimes you might lose the Zealot or take a lot of damage on it, but the amount of scouting intel you get makes it completely worth it.
I think a lot of it has to do with the Xel'Naga watchtowers.
Yeah, and then as soon as that Zealot dies, you can just go ahead get immortal.
Now, once again, Genius, we've seen him do this before, not using his assimilator. Not using his assimilator here, but getting 3 gates. So he's going to do a different kind of 3-gate rush. He might add a 4th gate.
Looks like he's just going to do a very aggressive 3-gate. One without sentries.
Nice control there.
Oh, messing up his Stalker control. Could have gotten a couple more hits in there.
Yeah.
And you might be like, why are you so excited about that? Because when you're doing something this technical, this aggressive, that much, I mean, one less Marine and one more hit on another Marine, huge deal.
Now he is mining from the gas again.
Did he do that because the SCV came in, though?
I don't know. There's this sentry. Get out of here.
And in fact,
oh,
he didn't build a pylon over there, so I think he's just going to go for a 3 warp gate expand.
A lot of these Terrans, and in this case MVP is doing that, is getting a bunch of, 2 racks and getting a bunch of infantry, basically to make sure Protoss can't get an expansion up. So I think the response to that has sort of been for Protoss to get 3 gates.
Yeah, 3
and
gates
just always have
holds.
enough to where that if the Terran gets too ballsy and goes all the way across the map, the Protoss just punishes him and then expands himself.
If you do it right, 3 gate will absolutely hold this.
And this is what, StarCraft is a lot of, is at the highest levels, people are sort of reacting to the way people are reacting to new builds.
Yeah.
Trying to stay one step ahead, say, well, that's strange. Everybody's getting 2 racks because all the Protoss is used to go 1 gate expand. I'm going to go 3 gate, punish that, expand myself, and make it harder for the Terran to get a 3rd.
Now, something pretty interesting, combat shields are almost done. That's before Stim. That's after concussive shells. And the Nexus started before the command center, which is not all that common in this matchup. Normally, Terran does get that expansion up first. So, Genius looking pretty good so far.
No, Genius continuing to chrono boost the Nexus. I'm a big supporter of it. If you're doing anything that's just going to be kind of a generic safe build, you should be chrono boosting Nexus nonstop.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting those extra probes out, you can really get a sick economy going.
Yeah, don't just chrono boost out the warp gate because it feels safer to have warp gates. I mean, really, if you want to invest in the late game, get a lot of probes.
Yes. Well, now, Forge going up.
I like that as well.
His armor. Armor upgrades so ridiculously good.
Oh, God, they're so good in this matchup, PvT. Get armor, guys.
Yep.
I know a lot of people always feel like, well, I should get attacked because it feels like I should kill his army faster. But the thing is that, with the Zealots, you want to tank so much of the damage so that they don't die right away.
Because huge difference.
MVP's SCV. Oh. That's a little overkill there.
Like, it's out 4 force fields, traps it
and stuff.
SCV's like, oh my god!
Then the Stalkers, if they had Blink, would blink around it. The SCV's like,
cast a side
this is how it ends.
Uses the mothership's vortex.
Terran's moving out. Twilight Council's on the way. I don't know if MVP should do this. We'll see, because really it's up to the Protoss to have good force fields. There's not a lot of tricks Terran can have to basically be like, oh, well, if I do this, you can't force field me, right? There's not a ton. Uh-oh. Every single one survives.
Huh.
Whoa, that was very bad force field setup there. I think he might have misclicked or something.
Well, a lot of gateways at Twilight Council on the way.
Here's the problem, is that he might actually be so short on force fields, MVP can just bust him.
Maybe. Tastes, that's a pretty fearsome army.
I don't know what...
Nice cutoff by Genius, though, actually. Let that stim wear off.
He didn't stim a lot of units. I mean...
Hey, didn't stim all of them.
let's see here. I don't know if this is a good idea here. I think MVP might just actually...
yeah, with those extra Zealots popping out, they already do have that +1 armor. And it looks like...
this is just such a bizarre decision by MVP to...
Yeah, MVP's just... And that was only 3 gates, Tasteless. I mean, three barracks. Normally, when you go for something like that, you do it off a 4 barracks build. And this is as long a map as you're likely to find. So he basically went for a very good economy build, went 3 barracks, which is normally used for teching up reasonably fast, not super duper fast like Select does, but pretty fast. Walked across the longest map he could find, saw a ton of sentries, and decided to try to kill it.
That was just...
I don't know what's up with our game, Genie Tasteless.
That was like sense of make no have is becoming of wit in this of the game.
Reminds me of an old Android interview I once read.
No, I mean, it's just like the decision to, and I mean, Artosis nailed it on the head, but I really want to hit this home because I know not everybody plays competitively. I mean, it's a very simple, straightforward answer as to why that didn't work. You're not supposed to walk across one of the biggest maps in the game. I think this actually starting locations in these crossbots might be the farthest you can possibly have. Am I mistaken? I think
it's either this or Terminus.
Yeah,
it's one or the other.
To literally make 3 barracks, not 4, to walk across the map, to identify. He already saw that there was at least 6 or 7 sentries there. He saw that this guy's going to be like, all right, I'm going to try to kill him. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What he's supposed to do, sit back, take a 3rd base, make more medevacs, spot at the Terran. I mean, if the Protoss tries to leave and start dropping and controlling the map that way. That's what you're supposed to do as a Terran player.
Well, the Game Genie Terran Tasteless maybe has something else up his sleeve. He does have 115 supply against 124, so it's pretty close. Genius, though, taking a quicker 3rd. And his +2 is almost done for his armor. His charge is done, and his blink is almost done. So his army, while he doesn't have anything that does area of effect damage, which you normally need, he already crushed the first army. He has a ridiculous amount of sentries. In fact, he has 12 sentries. He also has really good upgrades, so he should be able to crush this. Ghosts are out!
Whoa!
Good EMPs right
that
there.
That actually got, I think, almost every sentry.
Yeah, it really did. They did have some Guardian Shields up already, but realistically, MVP should kite a little bit more here. You know, he doesn't have any upgrades against +2 armor.
Actually,
can't be expecting to win that.
You know, the sentries are in the background doing some damage,
oh my
but
God,
at the end of the day, well, here's where we're going to find out how good sentries actually are. I think, is it medevac exhausted? Yeah, it is out of energy here. Well, that was actually a very peculiar series of events.
That was. MVP has to be very careful here, Tasteless. His upgrades are just starting. He's so far behind on that.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep running over you here. I want to rewind back to what happened there. There was no way Genius should have lost that battle except that there was the perfect EMPs on the sentries.
Oh, yeah. If he had EMP'd every sentry,
just a few force fields there, that would have been another blow to MVP.
He would have lost his entire army easily.
Yeah, easily. So it was kind of funny to see, well, what does it actually look like if you just have the Stalkers and the Zealots and you just have sentries shooting? And that should really show you guys how ineffective sentries are when it actually comes to killing stuff.
Yeah,
there's like 9 of those things. And there's like 4 units with no HP, and it's like, we better get out of here.
Remember back when sentries did 8 damage, Tasteless?
I remember when I was using sentries to fight off Mutalisks.
Yes. The good old days. All right, so MVP double expanding here. They have similar numbers of SCVs versus probes, 68 probes against 65 SCVs. MVP come up with 143 supply. Genius with 150.
The MVP should not attack here.
Yeah, right
now.
That
would be a big no-no.
Genius just about to finish his +1 attack. He's got +2 Carapace. He's got Colossus on the way.
Armor.
Yeah, armor. I'm sorry. I'm a Zerg player. Protoss player. Whatever. It's Carapace.
It's Carapace.
They were both invented by the Xel'Naga, Tasteless.
Now we have... armor wasn't invented by the Xel'Naga.
The Protoss and Zerg were both invented by the Xel'Naga.
Oh, what am I saying? Tasteless dropped the ball. It looks like he's going to be entirely dependent on getting off a good EMP.
Yeah.
This is actually a great little move here. Take out the assimilator.
Yeah.
Oh. It's on. Guardian Shield. Now he needs to get a good EMP up. Even if he's running away. He needs botched the EMP. There's still enough force fields to make a big difference here.
And in fact, the force fields kind of hold off his army.
Yeah, he didn't place them right, but there were enough.
This is actually so cool, Tasteless. MVP playing much more like himself this game, even with those kind of questionable early attacks. He's playing a very smart game here. He's taking all these bases, he's staying in the middle of the map, keeping some semblance of map control. Now, Genius does have a scary army right now, but Blue Flame Hellions and Vikings are on the way. And of course, Blue Flame Hellions going to do quite shiningly against these Zealots.
Things will go quite swimmingly. Yes. Yeah, Blue Flame Hellions are definitely an answer to this question of how to deal with these Zealots.
He does not want to engage that, Tasteless.
Bad concave there. Medevac's being shot down. We don't have any force fields just yet. Zealots are catching up, though. And he might need to turn around with some of those Zealots, but a nice Stalker blink. We don't have the force fields yet.
Man.
EMP casted. He does micro bag. Genius does. Both Colossuses. That means Protoss is going to win this battle. Both of them in the orange.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, though. He's near the Terran base. More units coming out now. If Genius loses all these sentries, then he's actually going to be in a little bit of trouble, Tasteless.
Well, there are enough Stalkers to cover that one Colossus. And that was an exchange that did favor the Protoss, as long as the Protoss can go find that upper left location. Now is the moment where he has to kind of move out and try to take out this expansion. Is he even aware of that expansion at the upper center?
No, I don't think he... In fact, no, he's not.
He doesn't know.
He does have an observer going up to check the third. He's going to find that. And in fact, that observer has been shift queued around the map to scout it. So he's going to know about that extra expansion very shortly here.
Now, Genius was lucky there because he didn't lose. Well, I shouldn't say he was lucky. He did a good job of not losing the Colossus. If you lose all your Colossus, it's very easy for the Terran to get ahead in the Viking count.
Yeah.
Making Colossus somewhat ineffective.
Nice usage of that.
Very good job defending that.
170 supply for Genius, 140 for MVP. Tasteless, if MVP goes to Code A, what happens
Well, I
then?
think it's a sign of the apocalypse.
Yeah. That's scary, Tasteless. I don't want the apocalypse to come yet.
I don't want it to come yet. I want to do the next season of GSL.
Me too.
You know, I got my priorities straight. Well,
I want to watch Alicia and Code S for at least a season before the apocalypse, Tasteless.
yeah, me too.
It's so unfair.
Then I can die happy.
MVP taking another base, though. Don't worry, guys. He's not out of this yet. Does have +1 carrot pace or armor on the way.
Well, you know, I don't know what to say. I mean, all MVP has to do is pull the trigger, and he's going to kill off this expansion.
Tasteless, there's a lot of MVPs. I mean, MVPs, SCVs in the middle of the map. I'm very
He's going to use that to block the Zealots, I think. I think he wants to try to do this army trade, but there's just too many Colossi.
He needs to kill off all those Zealots. Once he does, he may be able to take out the rest of the army.
Nice concave, but I think there might be too many Colossus to deal damage to the ground before they're wiped out. And that's that. I mean, the Stalkers blink over it.
Because he's going to lose a lot of Vikings here, even though he took out all...
I don't know if that's really going to do
MVP has like no SCVs left. He's at 58 supply against 122 for Genius. Wow.
Take a look at that. That is Vikings walking around. Someone get your camera out. Take a picture of that.
You know you can load 4 Vikings into a dropship?
Oh, can you? You can put 4 Vikings into a medevac?
Which doesn't make sense because when they're flying around, they're as big as the medevac.
Wait, are you joking? Because it never.
No, I'm not joking.
Oh my
It's
God.
true.
And here's where Blink really comes in handy when you're ahead. Is kind of
when you're ahead, blink further ahead.
Blink further ahead. Yeah.
MVP is going to have to GG
MVP is actually dead in this game.
Yeah, he's very dead.
He's
and
a
I'm
dead
sorry
man.
that we keep saying that, but like...
It's actually true.
I'm not going to lie to you guys.
I know some of our viewers actually would prefer if we were disingenuous and pretended that for some reason this guy who's completely dead is like ahead in the game. And it's like, well, I just like being lied to.
It's just 67 supply isn't going to come back against 162 Protoss with better upgrades.
And more map control, better unit composition.
And he's the BlizzCon champion. It's like,
well, sorry, guys.
Sorry, brah.
Yeah.
Ain't happening today.
I mean, the odds of MVP coming back are like less than 5%.
Oh, they're much less than that.
It would basically be.
If there was a disconnect right now, they'd rule it for Genius. That's how far ahead he is.
Now, you can see Genius is being patient and calm. He says, wait a minute, I'm against MVP. I don't want to make a mistake and give up that 5%.
Yep. He's taking another base. Smart move. In fact, some may call it genius.
Ooh. And yeah, as you can see, he's just going to come over here. He's dissembling his opponent.
Colossus, though, are in the middle of the map, Tasteless.
I don't know what their story is. Oh, what about him? What, did he not put his contacts in? He didn't see that army
He
over
was
there?
trying to defect Tasteless, but Colossus has no hands, can't hold up a white flag.
Oh, there you go.
Now they just have to run away. I wish we stayed with the main Protoss army.
You know what's funny is it doesn't really matter if he's chasing down these Colossuses.
Yeah.
Because he's genius. I mean, MVP is about to run out of bases. And get back up the ramp. MVP going to try to do one last move here, it looks like. Let's see if it works.
Well, MVP is going to take out a base, Tasteless.
And, you know, StarCraft, something's always better than nothing.
Yeah, normally.
Normally, except that now he's allowed himself to be in a position where Protoss can basically close in on him and kill him.
Yeah, this army is so stuck in there. Where's that army going to go, Tasteless? To hell.
And here we go. Yep, he might even want to blink on top of him. There you go.
Goodbye, Marauders.
Zolt's like, let me at him, let me at him. Nope. Sorry.
MVP with just nothing left. 51 supply against 166 of Genius.
Look, there's a planetary fortress. So that's also like a big Johnny Five's head if it was at the top of that. Don't give me an ink blot test, man. You don't know the stuff I'm going to see, man. GG. Yeah, he taps out. That was actually a bit overdue. I mean, you don't blame the guy for playing. Genius has got to be feeling good about that because that was a long, calm game. I was trying to become more articulate than I'm actually capable of doing. No, I mean, it was just a steady victory. MVP basically made bad choices, and Genius dealt well with them.
Yeah.
And that's how this works.
Yeah, that first attack was just so nonsensical.
No sense.
The 3 barracks build you can put pressure on, but there's no reason to actually stim an attack in when you see a bunch of sentries. You actually, I don't know in what world that should win.
Well,
who's he practicing against that works against?
I don't know, because really it was not like Genius was like, all right, I'm cutting probes, I'm chrono boosting my gateways. He was just making stuff. And what's even weird about it is Terran knew there were a lot of sentries. Sometimes Protosses, they're rushing to a Colossus or something like that. They don't want to spend their gas. But, I mean, he saw 6 sentries. He's like, no, I'm going to do that. And then it's like, and you know what's funny about it?
Maybe
the
thought
force
he was
fields,
rushing.
What?
If he thought he was rushing to Colossus and spending money on the Colossus at that moment, that would actually explain it all, because sacrificing that first army to kill off just a decent amount of gateway units, you're going to get way ahead.
Where the Vikings are going to be strong later.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like...
That must be what he was thinking, though. That has to be it.
I guess so.
Because MVP's a very good player. I'd be thinking...
Instead, he got a forge.
You're going 2-base Colossus.
Yeah,
no, Genius didn't just go 2-base Colossus. He didn't just say, well, I want to spend all my money on these units on this huge map.
You don't need to go 2-base Colossus on a map like that.
No, it's...
Take your time, man. Take a chill pill, yo. Jeez. We're going to go into our next game. Countdown's begun. Up and down matches here at the GSL. This is our 3rd day of it. MVP. Many were saying after Season 4 he was the greatest player of all time. Now he may drop down to the lowest ranking StarCraft 2 televised matches in Korea, the mecca of esports.